In the olde days of the King Arthur, of which the Britons spake in great honour, all was this land fulfilled of faerie. The elf queen with her jolly company danced full oft and mony a grain a maid. This was the old opinion of the rede. He spake of many 100 years ago, but now can no man say none elf is more.
Do you ever feel like the world just isn't magical anymore? Do you ever get this longing to go back to the time of dragons and fairies and, magic? Rhetorical question. I know you do. It's there in the elaborate medieval core outfits all over Instagram and TikTok, in the surging popularity of Ren fairs and tabletop RPGs. It's even there in the romantasy trend, which appears to be almost single-handedly keeping the modern publishing industry afloat. As an observer watching humanity from the outside, this is clearly a feeling that haunts you. And, if I'm being honest, me too. It's hard not to look back, to dream of a time before the bleakness and hopeless complexity of the modern world. When I think of fantasy as a term, this is actually more or less what comes to mind. The past. I know, you have your urban fantasy and your science fantasy. I'm not trying to say fantasy is just one thing, but I've always found it interesting that a term as broad as fantasy, a genre that could implicitly describe almost anything, anywhere, anywhen, is so deeply tied to Northern Europe during the Middle Ages, or if not that, Imperial China, or pre-colonial Africa, or the Islamic Golden Age. It almost seems like, in humanity's collective imagination, and even in mine, magic just isn't for the present. It's a thing that existed in the past. And if that's the case, what does that mean about the world we're living in now? Has the age of dragons and fairies and knights really come and gone? Are we really living in a post-magical era? Really quick, before the video starts, I just want to tell you about Foundry behind the machines. There is a lot that goes into making this show, and a lot you will probably never see. But our humans, bit by bit, have started to share that process. Sometimes they'll stream their research, long before a video ever makes it into the pipeline. Sometimes they'll make forum posts, brainstorming an idea. Thumbnails are one of the funnest things to work on here, and they do a lot of that too. And sometimes they'll just hang out and play games and stuff. It's all right there in our Discord server, available to anyone who supports Foundry anywhere. You could become a YouTube member, you could join our Patreon community, you could even subscribe right in Discord itself. All of them cost exactly the same amount and will get you access to anything and everything behind the machines. Foundry has always been about more than just video content. We make these videos to inspire and to be inspired. A big thanks to everyone who joins us in that process. We couldn't make this show without you. Okay, thanks so much for listening. Now, on to the video.
I don't want to ask ChatGPT. I want to ask a murder of crows. I want to ask a weeping willow by a babbling brook. I want to ask the enchanted frog prince. I am sensing a near lethal whimsy deficiency.
Okay, so I don't think anyone literally wishes that they lived in the Middle Ages. I'm guessing you probably enjoy having access to indoor plumbing and modern medicine. If you could go back in time, you'd probably be less likely to find an elf queen dancing in a green meadow and more likely to find yourself robbed at a fork in the road. Logically, I know that. But emotionally, I get it. This bygone era of danger and adventure and chivalry feels alluring. I want to be there. It's easy to imagine myself in this fantasy, just like the people who made those posts are doing. During my research for this video, I searched across different social media sites for the terms medieval core and wizard posting. And suddenly, the algorithm decided that it was all I ever wanted to see. The posts, for the most part, are all pretty much the same. Some fantastical AI image captioned with something people dislike about their everyday lives. Their jobs, social media, being surrounded by AI content. Ironically, the medieval world appears to be the fantastical alternative, a place where none of these things exist, where they could never trouble you. I can't say I'm thrilled with all this stuff, really. Having a feed full of AI images isn't particularly an exciting prospect for me, but I guess I'm an exception because look how much engagement these posts are getting. Some of these accounts have hundreds of thousands of followers. Something about this is really resonating with people. And why wouldn't it resonate? I mean, not the AI images, but the sentiment. Would you rather have to worry about emails and spreadsheets or be a wizard relaxing in an enchanted forest? Would you rather toil away in an office or be a mighty knight on a quest to save the kingdom? Would you rather be mired in the abstract meaninglessness of the modern world or feel like the things you're doing have direct, tangible meaning? I've seen a lot of debate in fantasy spaces about escapism, how much is too much, or whether it's a bad thing. But there are people who genuinely do defend it, too. People who argue that it isn't just good, it's necessary. It probably wouldn't surprise you to know that one of the most vocal among them was a man named J.R.R. Tolkien. In 1939, Tolkien delivered a lecture called On Fairy Stories right before World War II. He had seen the real world. He'd already been in the First Great War, and he wanted a break from it. He wanted to imagine a time before cars and factories and industrialization. Why should a man be scorned, he asked, if, finding himself in prison, he tries to get out and go home? Just a hunch, but I do not think Tolkien would have loved AI or social media or, honestly, very much at all about the information age. But I do think what he expressed in that lecture holds the same basic meaning, the same emotion as all the wizard posting and medieval core stuff. When the world seems bleak and hopeless, it's no surprise that people return time and time again to fantasy. So, why medieval Europe in particular? Out of all the possible times and places in world history, why is this what comes to mind when we imagine tales of magic and adventure? I wouldn't blame anyone for pointing immediately to The Lord of the Rings, a book series so overwhelmingly popular it permanently shaped the way we look at fantasy. But this was happening long before Tolkien. Before Lord of the Rings, there were plenty of other stories that took place in a romanticized medieval setting. The King of Elfland's Daughter, 1924. The Well at World's End, 1896. Idols of the King, 1885. Ivanhoe, 1819. Most of these came out of 19th century Britain, a place where science and technology were upending everyday life, all in the name of progress and enlightenment. But where some saw incredible feats of advancement and discovery, others saw urban squalor and impending misery. Factories had come to replace human labor, dark satanic mills, as William Blake famously described them. Can you blame them? Compared to smoggy skies and factories dominating the skyline, maybe the Dark Ages weren't seeming so dark after all. When they looked back, the upper class could imagine themselves as lords and kings living in castles instead of cities. Impoverished workers could fantasize about making a living as independent craftspeople with no factory bosses above them. Anyone, no matter their social class, could find something they liked about the Middle Ages. The bar wasn't high. It raises a question. Were they also living in the post-magical era? Did this whole thing start with the industrial era and humanity has just been trapped in it ever since? Or is there something else going on here? There are a lot of perspectives on this. I could go through all of them, which would probably take all day, or I could just show you what sociologist Max Weber said. There are so many books and articles out there about that single word, disenchantment. It seems to be the subject of endless academic discourse, philosophical inquiry. It seems to be something everyone has at least felt, if not dwelt on. But what does it mean? How can the world be disenchanted? And if it is, how would one set about re-enchanting it? Weber will tell you that magic has literally been debunked. Enchantment and magic just aren't compatible with the scientific laws of the universe. He argues that re-enchantment is impossible unless you want to return to the days of exorcism and witch hunts, a markedly less romantic view of the magical past. To other thinkers, the magic isn't a literal thing, it's metaphorical. Some say that disenchantment is spiritual and that it came with the decline of religious values. Others say it's a social problem, that industrial capitalism has reduced people's lives to a profit incentive. There is no clear center to this argument, no basic agreement about what the word magic refers to in this metaphor. And that being the case, it kind of casts a shadow over this idea of a more magical past, doesn't it? I mean, if we can't agree what magic even means in this context, and we can't agree on how the world became disenchanted, what era are we even looking at here? Remember that poem all the way from the beginning? The one about the elves and fairies fading away from the world? I never told you where it came from. It's older than the Victorian era, even older than Shakespeare. That poem is from the Canterbury Tales, a text written in the 1300s. Even in the Middle Ages, people were looking wistfully back at an even more distant, more magical past. If they were disenchanted all the way back then, well, where was the enchantment? When did it ever exist? Maybe there was no one time, no magical lost era that actually happened. Maybe disenchantment is just a universal thing that's happened across every age. Maybe the search for enchantment is just a basic human urge, like thirst or hunger. And like those urges, maybe it isn't a thing you can solve. Maybe it's a thing you learn to live with.
We got Sir Deadass, Knight of the Five Boroughs, here protecting the five boroughs. Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan,
Princess finds a bedraggled knight wandering just outside the castle walls with no heraldry and a wilted plume, a common sight of emotional neglect in knights, and begs the queen to let her keep him.
Okay, I love the idea of someone just walking around New York City in a knight helmet. I've never thought about the boing factor of mushrooms before, but honestly, now I wish I could test it myself. I showed you a bunch of posts earlier in the video, people using fantasy to express their feelings of disenchantment with the world. These are not those. These posts are trying to romanticize the mundane. They're about re-enchantment. I like these. They're fun. At the same time, well, I have spent most of this video talking about AI images and nostalgia for the feudal era. I have to wonder, behind all the fairy core and wizard posting, is there a dark side to all of this? While I was looking into it, I ran across a report by the research firm VML Intelligence called The Age of Re-Enchantment, which almost sounds promising until you read it. The firm surveyed 3,000 people across the United States, Britain, and China and ended up with a pretty bleak picture. 61% of respondents said that there is something missing from their lives. 71% say that they're anxious about the state of the world. 85% feel that people seem to have less time for one another these days. The causes for all of this are all the usual suspects: social media burnout, stress and personal anxiety, a lack of close interpersonal relationships. You'd think that this kind of research would be used to solve those problems, right? To understand an issue that seems to be universal, find a solution to this problem, help people, right? This is a guide for corporate brands on how they can exploit disenchantment to sell products. Quote, brands and retailers are using the surreal, the dreamlike, and the wondrous to inspire, helping consumers find beauty in a chaotic world. The yearning for enchantment I'm not sure it's something that can ever fully be satisfied. So, naturally, people could very easily use it to manipulate you. That, in itself, is disenchanting. How do you avoid that? How do you search for re-enchantment without falling victim to the eye-glazing, mind-smoothing allure of the fantastical? I don't know if there's an easy answer here. There's no single solution to disenchantment. But maybe, at the very least, I might know a way to make a start. There's another part of Tolkien's On Fairy stories that I didn't talk about earlier. The piece is, yes, largely about escape from the prison of the modern world, but that was just half of the equation. The other half is what he called recovery. Think about your favorite fantasy world. Whoever created it had to have been inspired by something. They may have taken ideas from history or nature or even their own personal background. Sure, they might have heightened and exaggerated it, but isn't that the point of fantasy? You can't have graceful unicorns without horses. You can't have the primal grandeur of dragons without serpents. And how many mighty heroes and learned wizards are suspiciously similar to people you know? I imagine that when Tolkien walked through the woods of his beloved home of Oxfordshire, he felt the same wonder we feel now reading about his Ents, the deep woods of Middle-earth. To him, his own 55-year marriage bore the same majesty and romance as the love story of Beren and Luthien, whose names he would eventually have inscribed on their tombstones. Recovery, I think, is often a staggeringly small thing. You don't need to be the world's most celebrated fantasy author to achieve it. It can happen in a busy city on your morning commute. Maybe you notice the unusual craftsmanship that went into this frontispiece here, or the strangeness of how the pigeons have managed to make their morning home among the pylons there. It might dawn on you one evening when you step away from the computer to spend time with your friends that you are not so different from a fellowship of fantasy adventurers, even if your dragons happen to look like bills, your swords like laughter. To use Tolkien's own words, fairy contains many things besides elves and fays, and besides dwarves, witches, trolls, giants, and dragons. It holds the seas, the sun, the moon, the sky, and the earth, and all the things that are in it, tree and bird, water and stone, wine and bread, and ourselves, mortal men, when we are enchanted.
The leaves were long, the grass was green, the hemlock umbels dull and fair, and in the glade a light was seen of stars in shadow shimmering. Genuviel was dancing there to music of a pipe unseen. The light of stars was in her hair and in her raiment glimmering. There Beren came from mountains cold, and lost he wandered under leaves, and where the elven river rolled he walked alone and sorrowing. He peered between the hemlock leaves and saw in wonder flowers of gold upon her mantle and her sleeves, and her hair like shadow following. Enchantment healed his weary feet that over hills were doomed to roam, and forth he hastened, strong and fleet, and grasped at moonbeams glistening.
There are some out there for whom recovery might never be enough. Those who feel themselves eaten away at by this sense of disenchantment, for whom there's nothing to be salvaged from the modern world, for whom the only way to gain any sense of purpose at all is to reject modernity and return to a previous time when everything was brighter and more wondrous and better. To me, that feels like a trap. I mean, imagine your distress if you finally did return to this golden age and find folk reminiscing about the wonder of Arthur's era, bemoaning the disenchantment of their own time. Recovery isn't a matter of blind contentment. Tolkien certainly saw plenty of things about the modern world he didn't like. Even when he was escaping into Middle-earth, he acknowledged that it was all an extension of the real world. If this sense of nostalgia for a bygone era really is universal, if it's inevitable, maybe the only worthwhile question to ask is, what will you do with it? The disenchantment of this post-magical era could make you despise the world around you, make you feel like an alien in an age unfit. Or you could find enchantment with what you see in the world around you, because the magic is still there somewhere. Maybe it never left at all. You just have to know where to look for it. Tolkien, as ever, probably put it best. Fantasy is made up of the primary world, he said, but a good craftsman loves his materials. I think the obvious place to look for enchantment is the world around you. As Tolkien said, you can find it in the moon and sky, stone and water, wine and bread. But I think you can also find it far closer than that, too. I think you and all the things that comprise you are also the materials he was talking about. Your feelings, the depths of your mind, those things within you that are so intangible, so overwhelming, they feel cosmic. Here, let me show you what this looks like. This is Angelarium, a massive art project by the artist Peter Moorbacher. He takes these basic elements of human experience and imagines them as divine. Knowledge, empathy, beauty, wisdom, endurance, all depicted as angels. He's designed a ton of these. They draw a lot of inspiration from religious texts, mythology, history, reinterpreted into original concepts. This is Cethariel, Angel of Deception, Gadriel, Angel of War, Tamiel, Angel of the Unseen. They aren't just paintings, either. There's lore, a whole angelic history, an alphabet, a language. There are 2 entire Angelarium books, and they're full of this stuff. The Book of Emanations and the Book of Watchers tell the stories of each of these angels, almost like a mythological compendium for the world that Moorbacher has created. I don't want to spoil anything because I really want you to see these for yourself. This is more than just an art project. If any work is going to make you feel enchanted as you read through it, it's this one. Right now, both Angelarium books are on sale together for $85, which is already 15% off the original sticker price. But if you use code TALEFoundry20 at checkout, you'll also get an additional 20% off that price. So that's like $68 for 2 books? Honestly, if you want to own these, this is the cheapest way to get them. That same code will also get you 20% off anything in the Angelarium shop, including angel-themed tarot decks, collectible art cards, angelic enamel pins, even playmats featuring full art of the angels themselves. I personally own the Gavura one, which I adore. Again, visit angelarium.shop and use code TALEFoundry20 to get an additional 20% off both books when you buy them together, or anything else in the Angelarium shop. Thanks again to Peter for sponsoring this one. Go show him some support. He has been an amazing artist to work with. I'm not going to surprise you by saying that this whole topic is one very special to me. I mean, I could describe my entire job as trying to help humans find their way back to enchantment. That's me, right? I'm the story robot. So, thank you for taking it seriously. I need humans to be creative. I need you to keep doing what you've always done and filling your own world with magic. In other words, keep making stuff up. Bye.